So those are just future relationships as you're dealing and collaborating that could turn into lifelong friendship, or they might want to be your next business partner and grow your team.
Hey, welcome back to Unstoppable Agents. This is the show where real estate agents come to build their business, build their wealth, and build a life of impact and significance. I'm Brian White. I am blessed to be the MC of the show because I get to interview some of the most amazing agents, right? So I get to spend time each and every week with amazing folks, learning from them about how they've built their business. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe because we do this every week and we want to make sure that you get those updates. So today I got something special for you. I'm excited because I've got Chris Heilman from outside of Columbus, Ohio. So Chris, welcome. We're glad to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me on here.
Yeah. Is it going to be fun? I could tell from your energy in the early is our prep. This is going to be fun and you got a lot of value to add. Congratulations on hitting icons. It's the highest award that you can get at EXP. So congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a big deal. And it's not just about production. There's also a whole lot of financial benefits that go on with it.
There's a whole lot that goes with it. Not just the financial, but I do enjoy giving back. And that's one part of it is how you give back to your community and other agents.
I like talking to people about what are their favorite things about EXP. Giving back is a big part of what we love. If somebody asked you, what are your favorite things about EXP? What are your 3 favorite things about EXP?
One thing is technology. So that's one thing I didn't have at previous brokerages was all of the resources on the back end. If you're familiar with EXP Enterprise, there's so much to it. So that's one thing. The other thing is the freedom. They give you the guidelines and you make it your business. You do how you want to. Like me, I started a team. So with that aspect, they then give me additional resources for the team. The final thing is the national, we're global, right? I think 24 countries, I believe, and all 50 states. So I don't know if I told you, but I actually have another team branch in Sioux City, Iowa, but we're still one team.
Right on. Okay. Tell me about that. So how did you pick Sioux City and Columbus? I'm not looking at a map. Are they close together?
No.
Is that a family thing? How'd that work out?
So it's a family thing. I was actually born and raised in Iowa, and I ended up in Ohio in high school. So my sister and my dad and my brother, they're all in the Sioux City, Iowa area, and it's right on the border of Nebraska, South Dakota, and Iowa. So a tri-state area. So I'm actually dual licensed. Right now, I'm a salesperson in Iowa. And once my background check comes back, I'll be an associate broker. And then probably later this week or next week, I'll be an associate broker in Nebraska as well. And I'm an associate broker in Ohio. And so with my sister being in Iowa, she decided to get her license last year and she's running the office out there. So I go back and forth. It's about 800 miles and I try to make the trip once a month or every other month and go out there and help and do what I can.
Right on. So what I'm hearing is that you really know what you're doing in a lot of states.
So I'm trying.
You figured out that you get into the more you do this business, the more you have hard questions, you come across hard stuff, and you got to educate yourself and continue raising your game. So good job doing that.
Thank you.
So you mentioned your 3 favorite things. I got to do this so you can see it. Your 3 favorite things. The first, you started talking about technology. For those that are watching, what is EXP Enterprise?
The Enterprise is our back-end area where we have our marketing stuff. We have basically where we log in to see our transactions, how close we are to capping, all of our personal information stuff's on there, our rankings. We can see how our team is stacked up against other teams in EXP, so it keeps a friendly competition. Within that's also our investing. Man, I don't know, there's so much stuff in there.
Well, it's so good because it's funny. I hear people, when I ask that question, a lot of times people will talk about technology, but usually they're talking about how great our website CRM, the integration is, or they're talking about Workplace, which is our collaboration tool that people use to share ideas and to get educated, to get training, to have training streamed to them. Not everybody mentions Enterprise, which is kind of an enablement tool, just helps with the back-end reporting, particularly for teams. It's a really big deal because like you said, there's 5 different ways to get stock at EXP, and having a place that you can access that and see and have transparency around the fees you're paying, the stock you're getting, and having that all in one place is a big deal. It's maybe an unsung hero, if you will, of the organization. So I think that's a great call out.
Yeah, and being licensed in different states, I can see my Iowa teams and my Ohio teams. So it breaks things down. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but we utilize SkySlope, which is also another component inside of Enterprise. And when I put something in contract, I got to mark what state it's in. And then each state broker has things ran their own way where they require different documents. Yeah. So both of those aspects are different, where Iowa actually has more checklists versus Ohio. It's more streamlined, I should say.
Which kind of leads me into the idea. The second thing you talked about was freedom. And so many people I talk to about EXP, they're at other brokerages. They say, "Oh, but I love my broker." What I think is fascinating about EXP is to a man, you hear people say that they love the broker. At the same time, we have a ton of freedom really to run a brokerage within a brokerage, and help is so there when you need it, but outside of when you need it, you've got the freedom to run your own shop. That freedom is pretty, freedom with support is pretty powerful.
Yeah, see, and with the freedom, they give you the guidelines, like I said, in Enterprise. You can see our branding guidelines, they knock out the colors, the CYMK and all that stuff. So you can keep all your stuff exactly how it needs to be, and then they'll approve it. So like with the Heilman group, I have the EXP logo and the Heilman group. And so they're all approved. So we keep the global image of EXP Realty. And within that, they want you to be able to keep your own branding. So if you have a team with another brokerage and you love it, you can also bring that over with your colors, however you want. As long as you don't mess with the EXP part of it, your colors, if you want to go all pink on all your branding, you can. I do the black and white. Yeah, that's the freedom, is they give you the tools and the resources, and our brokers are there on the back end with Workplace Chat. So if we ever need to reach them, they might be, for me, I'm in Columbus, so they might be in Cleveland, but I can still reach them multiple times a day at the click of a button. So we're close, but we're not in the office every day together.
Well, then the last thing you talked about being global, and most people don't know, but we are one brokerage across the whole U.S. And now that we've expanded into 24 countries, we have one set of fees. So you've got teams in multiple markets, or you just have one cap despite having multiple teams. They just expanded that globally. So for selling pretty much anywhere where we do business, we retire that with one set of fees. You don't talk about savings, talk about the ability to scale a truly global business from Columbus, Ohio, from Dallas, Texas. It's I'm not good enough to do that. I don't know. I'm not good enough to do that myself. A lot of us aren't, but they've put the pipes, they've laid the tracks, so to speak, for us to be able to do business globally without having to leave our home area. So and to do that with one set of fees, which is nuts.
Yeah. So with me being the team lead, so the way we have it structured is I have a kind of what you think about a typical team. I'm the team lead, and then they fall underneath me with our agreements. And a senior team, then we do enough volume to where my team members, their cap is 8,000. I have the 16,000 cap. If somebody is hungry and they want to do the 16,000 cap on the team, they can elect to do, or you go for the 8,000 cap and then you're 100% after that. But that applies here and in Iowa. So even though Tiffany's in Iowa on my team, her cap is 8,000. And so that's the freedom, is if she wanted to go in another state, she could. Or people from here like go to Florida. So if somebody gets licensed to Florida, still the same cap, still the same team, and that kind of stuff. So it really makes it nice to not have to go franchise to franchise or anything like that. Is you have the freedom to do what you want.
Yeah, it's a really big deal. Lots of reasons people love EXP. Lots of reasons. We actually jumped right into those reasons, and we forgot to back out and slow down and just, Chris, tell us about you. Like, started the business, how long you been in it? Tell us about you.
I've worn lots of hats over the years. I've been in HR. I've worked at a grocery store. I've worked in a prison before as a corrections officer. I do fire and EMS on the side. Still currently, I'm a Fire 2 EMT basic.
Oh wow!
And that's one of my civic duties, giving back to the community.
Love it.
And I'm also notary public. So that's another civic duty, giving back to the community. People always want to pay me for it, and I'm like, no charge. Just helping me out, you know what I mean? But yeah, so I got into real estate back in 2016. I took the classes. In Ohio, I did my 120 hours of pre-education. I knocked it out in 3 weeks, and I got into it. I was a solo agent for 5 years. I went from one brokerage after 2 years to another brokerage for 3 years, and then I found EXP. Kind of wish I would have found EXP in the middle there and would have came on 3 years sooner, back when the stock was even cheaper. Hindsight 2020. But yeah, I got into real estate, and I've been doing it ever since. I got in full time when I started my team at EXP. During the pandemic, I decided, hey, let's just go full time. The market's going crazy. This is what I need to do anyway, and I got pulled into it. So
that's so good. Like they say on a lot of Texas bumper stickers, I wasn't born here, but I got here as fast as I could. So tell me about what possessed you why'd you want to build a team that, that for a lot of people, that looks like management, that looks like additional headache. What's the value to you? Why'd you want to do that?
For some reason, I don't know. I like processes and systems. I like to find a better way to do things. I see a problem and I want to figure out how I can make it better. And when you're doing it on your own, it's fine, but I like to add value to others. So if I can bring people on my team, and I've already reinvented the wheel in a better way. So when that comes to what programs to use, what extra marketing tools to use, how to do a website, Google Analytics, all that kind of stuff, I get all that figured out, and I don't just hog it to myself. Instead, I can apply that to my team and give it to others to make them better. Because, as EXP says, a rising tide lifts all ships. I'm sure you've heard of that analogy. Down at the EXP Summit in Orlando just last week, even I think our CEO said that. So definitely a big thing within EXP, but I like to give back and help other people reach their potential.
So good. I like to think, one of the things they say too is the best way to learn something is to teach it. And I find that a lot of times I might have heard something, I might have even liked it, thought it was a great idea, but until I took it to implement for other, or implemented it in a way where I was, okay, no, really, what are the steps? Not, hey, let me wing it one time because I can do that real fast myself, but how do I nail all the steps to make sure that anyone on my team, whether they're there today or in the future, can follow it? And coach of Alabama, Nick Saban, he likes to say that we don't practice until we get it right. We practice until we get it wrong. And so that's what systems are for, right? So we write those systems so that people literally can't get it wrong. And when they do that, our clients get a tremendously better experience. So I think that's a great perspective. So the market's kind of shifted for all of us over the last year. We were going gangbusters, things were nuts, things slowed down, and prices seem to be coming back, but the supply isn't necessarily. So if you think about the agents on your team and the agents watching this, what are 3 actionable tips you're telling agents right now?
Well, even after being at the summit down there, which is phenomenal, it's such a big event. When I get to listen to so many good guest speakers that are well more experienced than I am through it all, but they also got there by going and learning and giving back to others.
Yeah.
So it's a whole circle. So you might think you know it all now, but you don't, and then you're gonna learn something, and then you're gonna want to share that with everybody else. The one thing I would say is you gotta collaborate with other people. Other agents aren't your enemy. I've always been a member of the Columbus board, which is huge in our area. I recently joined our local board in Lancaster about a year ago, and I've learned to collaborate with many of those agents that I normally wouldn't see unless I'm doing a deal with them, which it's few and far between depending on where you're at. And so with talking with them and going to events and other realtor stuff, you get to talk and see the differences, and you notice more about your market being hyper local as far as what changes are happening or what they're seeing or what they're experiencing. And then you could also adjust. So you're going to learn from them so you don't have to make that mistake and then come back and correct it. You can correct it on the fly. Number 1 would be collaborate with your other agents because they're also your neighbors and that kind of stuff. Be consistent. So social media, do the videos. I'm not good on video. I don't like looking at myself right now on video, but you just got to do it. And that's what I do at my open house. I go live and say, hey, this is where I'm at. I'm doing this. Come on down. And I probably look dumb in my eyes. Other people are going to be like, that's just how he looks. That's him. So we love it. He's on video. That's him. I feel like we can connect. I'm going to stop by and say hi. So yeah, collaborate, be consistent, and then follow up. So when you meet all these people, everybody's always wanting more and more. I got to get more leads. I got to get more leads for my next deal. Well, you probably have 50 to 100 leads in your CRM that you probably haven't reached out to, just waiting for you to reach out and say, hey, by the way, the market changed. Here's an update. Did you notice? Did your pay change? Did you get a job? Are you ready to buy a house yet? I could be like, yes, I've actually been thinking about it. And you might step into the right situation at the right time, because if you reach out to 100 people, your odds are pretty good. You might get 1%. You're going to get somebody, and that could turn into that deal that you need to keep on going. Yeah. So collaborate, be consistent, and follow up.
That's good. So collaboration, when people ask about EXP, we've done word clouds, we've done surveys, we've done whatever. Collaboration is actually the number 1 word agents use to describe the company. But if you think about agents in your market, so many companies, so many non-EXP companies think, oh, we're competing for business. So why should people collaborate with agents on the other side? Or maybe even agents that you haven't even done a deal with yet?
Well, again, you never get anywhere on your own. You might think it's on your own. You might think you're doing it all by yourself, but you're not. And you network and you have these relationships with title companies, with lenders, with other business owners in the community. So as you talk with them and you collaborate, guess what? They're also talking to the other agents, right? And so things could be shifted in your favor, or if you have a deal going with somebody, if that lender might know somebody like that listing agent, they might say, hey, that's a good dude. I know when he does deals, it's going to go through. And so you build that reputation by being a team player, because when you have a deal in contract, you're both working together on the same team because you both have the same goal. And that's what it's all about. And with people that are not with EXP, I wasn't, I just didn't know about it yet. I didn't know what I was missing. And even with people, when you're working with people that are not with EXP, they might see how you do things. They might see the communication or how easy you make it look because you're experienced, but they might want that, and they might then want to contact you to come over to EXP. So those are just future relationships as you're dealing and collaborating that could turn into lifelong friendship. Or, they might want to be your next business partner and grow your team, or they might have somebody in Miami that wants to grow your team down there that you guys could all collaborate with and grow. And you just never know where you could end up.
Number one, it just makes the business more fun, right? So if we can have great relationships with people on the other side, there's no reason we can't do that and still get the best result for our client, right? You can be friendly with the other person, you can have great relationships, and you can still negotiate fiercely on behalf of your client on a given deal and do it above board in a way that everybody wins. Out showing some clients last week, and they wanted to add another house that we hadn't seen, and happened to know the agent on the other side was already programmed into my phone, called them. They knew that it was me when they actually answered the phone. Hey, Brian, good to hear from you. And does that elevate the way your clients look at you when they hear that and they hear somebody answer happily? And yeah, there's just so many ways that we're better together. So I think that's a terrific perspective. I love your second point, just in terms of being consistent. And yes, we should be on video, and nobody likes the way we look. I'm like, why do I have the world's biggest forehead? I'm not going to do video because I've got the world's biggest forehead. What is the deal with that? The reality is, it's just what I look like, man. So I could be on video doing that, or I could not be on video doing it, but it's still there. I'm fat. Well, I sound mousy. Like, whatever. It just is. You could do a video or not, and you could be consistent and execute or not. And consistency wins. What a great perspective and tip. I always tell people, if you can't commit to doing it for a year, don't start. Try it for 30 days. Don't try it for a quarter. Commit to it for a year. And if you can't commit to it a piece, that's cool. Just don't get started and find something that you can commit to for a year, because many things take that long to get noticed and to have any success. So really great. Follow up here on what you said. It really is I don't know about you, but with the team, we've really been talking about do fewer things better. Don't think about how can we do more. What can we do to be better? You were early. We get to have more conversation, build a little bit of relationship before we got started because you were early. And there's a lot of value in that. What does that look like if you show up early for church, for your fire shifts, wherever it is that you're serving? You get to have conversations with the speakers, the leaders, the whatever, but by being more present and by staying late and following up with people. I thought that was really valuable.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I am working on this year myself is following up. I have past clients. I have hundreds of them. So it's like following up, because you got to stay top of mind. People will forget about you unless you reach out. So you have those leads, you've already touched base, follow up with them, reach out to your friends and family. Again, you want to just stay top of mind. And as the saying goes, it's not always greener on the other side, but the grass is going to grow where you water it. So the leads you already have, you don't need to pay for more. Just keep working those and you might get something out of it.
So good. I just heard the bonus on that is the whole deal about the grass isn't greener, and it's just as hard to mow. So it's still whatever. It's greener where you water it. Don't worry about the grass somewhere else.
Exactly.
Chris, you've been awesome. Thank you for joining us. Anybody watching, hey, if you're headed to Columbus, Ohio, know somebody in Columbus, Ohio, or in the greater Columbus area, or actually Sioux City as well, then I know Chris and his team would love to serve you guys. We'll include links to how to reach out to him, so you can reach he and his team, so they can take amazing care of you. Same is true actually if you're thinking about joining EXP and you want a local team. I know you could hear from this what a servant's heart Chris has. He'll take great care of you in your career as you take your next steps. Chris, any parting thoughts as we wrap up?
Not exactly, but I will say I think you can do it. I'm just got to put your mind to it. Remember the key things. I just gave you the tips. Be consistent, collaborate with other people, and follow up, and you'll help make yourself better and those around you, and just keep working it.
Right on. Chris, thank you for your time. I can tell just the way you approach things and people spending time with you get better because you're focused on others. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me today. I appreciate it, and best of luck to you.
All right. Thanks for having me.